I just hit my $100,000 at 28 years old. Now that I hit my first $100,000 in the stock market, my next big goal is to actually... Hi friends, my name is Michi. I'm a first-generation immigrant from the Philippines now living in San Francisco, California. I grew up in a country where money talk was considered a taboo topic, but I've always been fascinated by financial freedom. Now, I'm sharing my journey to build wealth and be transparent about money along the way. My current goal right now is to be a millionaire in 5 years. I'm still figuring things out as I go, and I hope you stick around for the ride. For today's episode, I am going to share you guys my actual investment portfolio. I'm going to show you real numbers where I invest, and we're going to talk about my investment strategy. They say reaching $100,000 is the hardest. They're absolutely right. But why is this number so important to investors on the path to financial freedom? First, it's not just about the money, it's about momentum. Hitting $100,000 in the stock market proves that you've already mastered the basics: saving, investing, and discipline. It means that you've built the habit that will compound over time. Second, this is when compound interest really starts working in your favor. If your portfolio earns 10% return, that's $10,000 growth without you lifting a finger. And the bigger your investment grows, the faster they snowball. Lastly, reaching $100,000 shifts your mindset. You stop thinking about money in terms of saving. You start thinking about making money work for you. And this is where financial freedom starts feeling real. Reaching this number most likely means that you've already paid your highest interest debt, you've established the habit of saving money and living below your means. You are focused on the long game and you are able to delay gratification for your long-term goals. There's so many things you have to overcome to get to this first milestone, and honestly, not a lot of people will even get this far. I just hit my $100,000 at 28 years old, a month before I turned 29. Am I late? Maybe. Do I regret some of my financial decisions? Absolutely. But did I learn a lot of things along the way? 100%. Looking back, I wish I had started investing in the US stock market way earlier instead of putting money into random investments outside the country. But you know what? Every mistake is a lesson. And this journey taught me what exactly not to do. Before we dive in, with just full transparency, I know I'm privileged enough. I have certain privileges that helped me get here, and I'm very grateful for that. I started with zero debt. I have no student loans. I have no car payments, nothing holding me back. And yes, living with my boyfriend means cutting back big expenses like groceries, utilities, and rent. And that all made differences in my investment. But I am also crediting myself because I am a hustler. I've been working 2 to 3 jobs since I moved here to the US. But let's be real, my biggest game changer was fixing my bad spending habits. I stopped wasting money on things that doesn't add value to my life. Combining my low cost of living with multiple income source, that's when my investments actually started to grow. Don't get me wrong, I still love spending, but instead of spending money on BS, I am now spending intentionally. And I always make sure to track every single expenses that I make. I'm gonna link the budget template that I personally use. I get it, not everyone is obsessed with money like I do, but if you want to take control of your finances, this is your sign. And for my friends who still thinks that investing is too complicated, stick around. I promise you, it's way easier than you think. Alright, let's get into it. So let's start with Robinhood. This was my training wheels for investing, super beginner friendly. And honestly, it got me into the game. I don't use it anymore, but I still have about 1,500 sitting here in some leftover stocks and crypto. Would I recommend going heavy on this type of investments long term? No. But if you're only getting started, Robinhood is actually a great app. My referral link is in the description below. You can get a free stock using my link. Next up is my old 401k from a part-time job. I just need to roll it over to my current Roth IRA. But this is one task that I've been putting off for years now. If you have old retirement accounts, don't leave them stranded. Either roll them over or consolidate them. Now, here's my current 401k. I've been with my company for 2 years now. They match 50 cents for every dollar I contribute up to 6% of my eligible income. That's free money and I'm taking advantage of it. I only make around $51,000 right now, but I am actually in the process of getting a higher paying job. So hopefully next year I can max out my 401k. That's the goal. Now, onto my favorite retirement account, my Roth IRA. I've been contributing on this account for over 5 years and I've managed to max it out the last 3 years already. For my Roth IRA, I only invest on a target date fund, QQQM, and VOO. Target date funds are long-term investments that automatically adjust your risk tolerance as you get closer to your retirement age. The one that I have is Target Date Fund for 2050. I also have QQQM. It is more tech-focused. It tracks NASDAQ 100, which is a collection of 100 largest, most actively traded companies in the stock market. And lastly, I have VOO. This tracks the S&P 500, aka the top 500 companies in the US. If you don't know, your Roth IRA grows tax-free and you can withdraw all your rollovers and contributions anytime without penalty. But for me, this is untouchable until I hit 60 because I want to maximize that compounding magic. If you're eligible for a Roth IRA, seriously, start one. Your future you will thank you. I personally use Fidelity. There's a lot of platforms where you can invest. Vanguard is a popular one as well. It doesn't really matter what brokerage you use, you just have to start. Alright, finally we have my brokerage account, aka my early retirement fund. Once I max out my Roth IRA, this is where most of my investing happens. Why? Because if I want to retire early, I need an account that I can access before 59 and a half years old. My current plan right now is to soft retire in my 40s and fully retire by 50s. My investment portfolio is designed for early retirement. And I keep simple with just 3 types of ETFs, which is the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and dividend-paying ETFs. Let me break it down. I invest in VOO. It gives me exposure to the top 500 companies in the US. Then there's QQQM, which tracks the NASDAQ 100, letting me ride the growth of big tech. Together, they give me balance of stability and high growth. But growth is not enough. I also need income. That's where GEPI and SCHD come in. These are dividend-paying ETFs that provide passive income while still offering some growth. So I get the best of both worlds, market appreciation and cash flow. With this strategy, I don't have to stress about picking individual stocks. I stay diversified, focus on the long term, and I'm letting the compound interest do the work. I stopped buying individual stocks long time ago. Individual stocks are risky, and honestly, at my age, it's not for me anymore. When I was 21, I was buying individual stocks, that's fine. And short-term volatility is so stressful. I don't want to time the market. I want to grow my wealth steadily over time. No stress, no gambling, just steady wealth building. There's actually a loophole on how you can use your 401k before your retirement age. So technically, you just roll over your 401k to your Roth IRA, and then you can access any rollovers or contributions to your Roth IRA before 59 and a half. Me personally, I'm not entirely sure yet if that's what I want to do in the future, but it's something that I can consider. Talk about compound interest, aka the magic that turns small investments to millions over time. If I have $100,000 right now and do absolutely nothing, just letting it grow at an average of 10% return, by the time I'm 65, I'll have 3.9 million. That's the power of letting your money work for you. Now, let's say I retire and follow the 4% rule, which means I withdraw 4% of my portfolio every year to cover my expenses. That would give me an annual budget of $159,000. That's a 6-figure income without working. That's why investing is so powerful. But here's the thing, I don't want to wait till I'm 60 before I get 3 million. I've always known I want to retire early, so my plan is to invest as much as possible in the next 10 years so I can start taking it easy by 40. Now that I hit my first $100,000, my next big goal is to actually hit my first million in the stock market. If your goal is to hit your first $100,000, I promise you it's going to happen sooner than you think. The hardest part is getting started, but once you do, the momentum takes over. And after that first 100K, your money starts growing faster, more than you ever expected. Anyway, I hope this video inspired you to start working on your investment portfolio, whether it's for your retirement, early freedom, or just simply building wealth.